Hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd, while I've got a load of speakers here that are here for refurbishment, I'll have a chat about whether really refurbishing these old vintage speakers is financially viable when you're paying someone else to do it for you. I'm going to use the Ditton 44 as a typical example because that's a speaker that I know very well. I've had many of them here, and some of the prices for the work I've done on those is fairly fresh in my head. So I guess the first thing really is to look at how much you can pick up some of these vintage speakers for. So a good pair of Ditton 44s as an example, you would pay around 350, maybe 400 for a very nice condition cosmetic pair, cosmetically in really good condition. So that's the veneer is not chipped or anything. The bezel is all nice. The drivers are in good condition. Maybe it's a pair that have been freshened up inside. The crossover's been done as well, so maybe that's going to push it up a little bit more. So maybe 450. But yeah, everything's got a value, and if you're going to refurbish your speakers based on their sale value or resale value, then I don't think it's financially worth it paying someone to do it. So I recently did a pair of Ditton 44s. I stripped the whole both cabinets, which takes an hour each cabinet, something like that. I sanded them back, which probably took another hour or so, and re-oiled them. Then all the drivers were checked, tested, serviced, so all the rubbers cleaned, and then some rubber rejuvenator added to supple them up again. Tweeters, they can need redoming, which can take an hour or so each tweeter. So to use an example, this pair I refurbished the cabinets, checked and reconditioned all the drivers, rebuilt the crossovers, which takes about an hour a crossover, a bit more. You've got 60-70 quid's worth of components on those crossovers that you replace, new wiring as well. The covers needed doing, so the cloth had to be stripped off and sanded back, and then reclothed. New Velcro, that sort of thing, cabinets oiled up. And that to me takes, so to do that speaker from start to finish is a long day's work. If the tweeters need redoming as well, then you're creeping into a day and a half. Now, if you're going to pay someone to do that, let's just use a hourly rate for argument's sake of £25 an hour. Remember, people have got to make a living doing this. Unfortunately, a lot of people expect you to do it for the enjoyment. Who's benefiting? It's not me, is it, doing the work? Although I enjoy doing it, they're taking the piss, in all honesty. So yeah, realistically, if I spent a day, let's say £25 an hour, 8 hours, so that's 200 quid in labour. Crossover components and cloth, probably about 80 quid. So you're in it for 250, you're getting on for £300. 280, getting on for £300. And if it's a pair of speakers that you've bought, then you may have paid 300 quid for them already. So now this pair of speakers owes you around £600. Is that worth it? If the tweeters needed doing as well, which they did on this particular one, then we're now up to 650. So yeah, it's sometimes tricky to justify the money. A lot of people already own these speakers. They're not going to get rid of them, so spending a bit of money on them, whilst they're probably going to spend more than their resale value, they're going to get a tip-top speaker with many years of life back into them. And a lot of these speakers have they've owned them from new, sentimental value. Really, to get anything close to that, you would be spending a load of money. And then there's so much crap out there with rubbish components in and that sort of thing. I'm sure a lot of you watch GR Research's channel, and you know, you see the expensive speakers he gets in and the junk that's inside them. There's no guarantee that spending good money on a speaker is going to get you something good. So sometimes it's better to start with you know, an older vintage speaker which you can pick up for not much money, which has been designed well and voiced. You know, a lot of these older speakers were there was measuring equipment around at the time, but then a lot of them were voiced by ear, so more effort was possibly put into them. So it's a nice project to go in there and recap them and rewire them and upgrade them, and you'll end up with something pretty good. So yeah, I just hear a lot from people about the second-hand market and whether it's worth spending the money and doing the speaker if you're giving it to someone like me to do. And you know, kind of one of the reasons why I stopped doing refurbishments was because it was a lot of toing and froing conversations and emails and things to explain to the client, this is going to cost this much, this is going to cost that much. I don't know how much this is going to cost because I don't fully know what's wrong with it yet. And then it doesn't turn into anything because they see the cost spiraling up and it's, you know, going beyond the value of the speaker. So we all look at these things differently. So yeah, I've got these speakers in from a guy who's fairly local to me. I've been talking to him on and off about them for quite a while, which is one of the reasons why I kind of honoured my commitment to do these. So and yeah, it's not a speaker I've featured on my channel before, or these speakers I haven't featured on my channel before. They are speakers I've worked on, so it's going to be good to have them on my channel. So I mean, this pair here, which is the Kef cadenzas, I don't know, a good pair of these, 250, 250, something like that, 300 maybe. I don't know, but you know, if I was going to really go to town with this, I might be sanding them back and oiling them. The drivers would come out, I would clean them, treat the rubbers, hopefully the tweeter's all right, rebuilding the crossovers. You know, you could throw quite easily a couple of £100 at these. So yeah, is that worth doing? Personally, I always think it is, because I do love these older speakers. They sound very good, and I hate to see things thrown away. We do live in a chuck it away culture. You know, in the good old days, things were built to be serviced and kept going, like these are really. And you know, why would you want to chuck it away if you can keep it going? It's just wasteful. So yeah, bit of an impromptu video on these sort of things, but hey, there you go. Anyway, catch you all soon. Plenty coming up. Quite interested in these PSBs. Remind me of a Snell speaker.